Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well today. It's a little bit hot today, so I do have my fan on, so I apologise if there is a tiny bit of background noise. Today I have some new goodies from HNB Cosmetics. I have used a lot of HNB on my channel before. Their soft focus powder is some of my favourite. I did have their other foundation, but I actually had the wrong colour in that. It was incredibly light, which is good. It's rare that I can say that a foundation is too light. And yeah, the concealer has always been a full coverage trusted favourite. But today I've got two of the most recent releases. So this is the Glow Tint, and I've also got their pressed powder, which they recently brought out too. So I haven't tried these, so this is going to be like a first impressions kind of. I think I'm going to do a wear test. I don't really have much plans for the day. It's currently 1:20 in the afternoon. I need to go run a few errands. I need to do some housework. I could be going to the gym later just to do a class. So I'm going to be checking these out, doing a wear test, and yeah, giving my honest review. I'd love it if you can like and subscribe. It would mean an awful lot to me. And yeah, let's get into it. So this is a product. It comes in a really big box. I didn't realise that it actually came with a brush. I thought that was just like in PR. But it comes with this, feels nice, quite soft, but I guess it is kind of dense. But yeah, really nice that it comes with a brush. I do have another HNB brush that I sometimes use. And then this is the packaging. I got colour GT2, and yeah, it comes with a pump, lid, frosted packaging. Yeah, really like the packaging. And then the powder, I got this in Fair, and again it's just a really nice compact. I like how small it is, and yeah, really nice mirror in there as well. And yeah, it definitely goes with the rest of the HNB line. All kind of is a really nice aesthetic. Feels quality. Obviously HNB is affordable, but definitely this feels weighty, which is nice when you are not spending loads. Yeah, so I think I'm going to do, because this is kind of like a glowy tint, and my experience from when I tried out the MAC Dewy Strobe tint, I can never remember what it's called, is when I tried it for YouTube, I kind of put it all over as I would a skin tint, and I really didn't like it that way. I found that it was too pearlescent, didn't wear very well, but it's now become one of my favourite kind of glowy products to add in with a skin tint. So I'm going to try it both ways. On one side I'm just going to do it as a skin tint with some concealer, powder, see how it goes. But on the other side I'm going to mix it in with a trusty skin tint and see if I prefer it that way, because these kind of products you can use in so many different ways, and I want to try both of those out today. I am going to do something not full glam, but not light either. So I'm going to really put this to the test and see if it can give me kind of a more glam look. Okay, so I've just primed my face. I'm going to skip through some of my steps today because I kind of want to just focus on the Glow Tint and the other HNB products. So I did just prime my face with my trusty favourite. So I've got my e.l.f. Sea Bright Putty Primer, and then my Vive Skin Nova. So my face is feeling super hydrated, super plump, super, yeah, primed. And yeah, so on this side I'm just going to put it all over. What I'm going to do is, let's read out. So it says it's a super lightweight moisturising formula that gives incredible glossy skin with a tint of colour to even out complexion. Dries down to give a long lasting effect while keeping your skin looking perfectly radiant. And I got GT2, which I think is like more of a cool undertone. And yeah, and it was £18, which I think is reasonable. Okay, so on this side, I'm going to kind of just put it all over. Well, it's thicker than I thought it would be. I don't really know how much to use. Oh yeah, it's a lot thicker than I thought it would be. And I'm going to take the brush and I'm just going to start working this in. It does have a slight fragrance, which doesn't bother me massively, but if it didn't have it, I would prefer it. But I'm not going to not use a product because it has fragrance, but I know for some people that is kind of like a deal breaker. I mean, it has given me the loveliest glow and radiance. This brush is probably not something I would like grab again. I like something a bit denser to put on my foundation. But I guess it does kind of like disperse it nicely. Okay, so that was one pump and you can see that like radiance. It's definitely not as like metallic as the MAC one, but I do feel like it accentuates quite a lot of my texture. So like I feel like I don't actually have that much texture, but it makes me look like I do. But I do really love the radiance. I would say this has no coverage. Like I would not, yeah, I wouldn't say this is coverage. I would say this is like a radiance primer. But yeah, I like the radiance. I think it feels really nicely on my skin. It's very lightweight. There isn't that much pearl in it, but yeah, it does give off that kind of glow. Let's see how it sits. Let's see how it works with the concealer and the powder. Next, should I add a little bit more? Okay, so let's try it with another pump, just to see if you can build any coverage. So this is my second pump. And I would use something like this with a brush, because I feel like if you use this with a sponge, you're just not going to get enough on your skin. My skin is quite bad at the moment, so I am kind of picking a bad time to review something so sheer. But you've got to try products sometimes when your skin is at its worst, because that's normal. This is my skin, so I need to know that products will work over whether I have good skin or bad skin. Okay, adding that second layer did give me a bit more coverage. Yeah, you can see. So here my skin is just a bit redder, and here it's just that teeny bit more even, but I would say it's like marginal. It's very, very light coverage. But yeah, that radiance and that glow without it being like metallic is impressive. Okay, on my other side, I'm going to mix this in. So I've got my iconic Super Smoother Blurring Skin Tint. This is one of my favourites. It is a little bit pricey, but I think it's worth it. And then I'm going to mix in some of the Glow Tint. So on the back of my hand, I'm not going to take loads, so just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to do another full kind of pump with the Glow Tint. And I'm just going to mix this in on the back of my hand and go in with that brush again. So it is obvious that this side is going to give me more coverage. I'm hoping this doesn't look too funny, because I do actually have to head out today. But I didn't actually use a lot of the skin tint. Let's just use the skin tint to just give me that tiny bit more coverage. Okay. So yeah, this side definitely has that little bit more coverage. but that radiance is really still there, you can see. And this by itself is lovely, but I always add either my MAC strobe tint or I add my ELF Halo Glow underneath. So this I do use a lot with kind of glowy add-ons. But yeah, I really do like that radiance. It really just makes your skin look really like plump and healthy. Like I said, the coverage isn't there, but I'm hoping that when we go in with our concealers and whatnot, I would still say that it accentuates my texture a tiny bit, but I don't think it's like awful. It's definitely better when it's got something mixed in than when it's by itself. We are going to be adding powder and stuff today, so we'll see. And I think that colour match is really good for me. So if you're quite pale, but I really like neutral undertones, the GT2 is the colour I've got. Okay, so concealer. We've got the HNB Soft Focus Airbrush Concealer, and this is in SF0.5N. And I usually only use this concealer to brighten because it's incredibly full coverage, and I prefer a slightly less full coverage concealer. That is just personal preference. If you're a full coverage girly, I know you will adore this concealer. Both sides the same with my concealer, and kind of spot conceal, normal conceal with this. And I am going to buff this in with a sponge because it's so full coverage. I feel like a sponge always helps. Just sheer it out. This concealer is amazing. Yeah, so I only dipped in once and I managed to cover my whole face. And I do really like how, well, I say Holly because it's Holly Boone who owns HNB, but how she's starting to bring out other kind of less full coverage products. I love a full glam, and I think perfecting full glam products I think is harder. But not everyone wears full glam all the time. Okay, so now the concealer's on. Definitely helped with that kind of texture. I still do prefer this side, which had the skin tint mixed in with the glow tint, because I think my skin just looks a bit more even. But you can still see I've still got that radiance really coming through. This side is a bit more radiant, but it actually really does look lovely. And like I said, because it doesn't have that pearl, your skin just looks really like fresh and like naturally plump and radiant over like you've put on product to make it look like that. I'm just going to go in with a few cream products, and again then I'm going to come back so we can do some powder. Okay, here I'm back. I've used my BFF face frosting in Milky Mocha and P. Louise in Ballet Slipper. So yeah, just some nice colour into my face. And the product worked really lovely on top of both sides really. Again, I am just loving the coverage on this side more, but this was always going to have more coverage on. But yeah, skin is looking really nice. Okay, so powder. So this is in Fair, and I'm going to dust this under my eyes. So this, I'm just basically focusing this under my eyes, as I do with a lot of my kind of like pressed powders. I kind of use them set under my eyes. I feel like this powder is a tiny bit yellow. I didn't get translucent because it looked very light, and I feel like it said on the website that it was to brighten, and I wouldn't necessarily want it for that, but now I'm trying this, I'm feeling like maybe I should have gone with translucent because it just looks a little yellow. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, it's set it lovely, but then I'm going to grab a bigger brush. It's very fine. I don't feel like I've got loads on, and it's doing a really nice job at like mattifying, but you can still really see that radiance coming through. But in person, it's definitely like very airbrushing, very smoothing, and I guess it's less yellow when I use it all over. But yeah, I definitely do think that I probably wouldn't use this directly under my eyes. I would use this as like a face setting powder. Reminds me a lot of the Charlotte Tilbury one. I feel like that one has a tiny bit more like blurring in. But yeah, this is pretty. The soft focus, yeah, translucent, the soft focus loose powder is one of my favourites for like a night out. And I put quite a bit on just to see how, when you build it up, how it feels. I do think it's nice as a setting powder. I probably wish I'd got the translucent, and I probably, yeah, wouldn't use this under my eyes. So yeah, I would use this probably in kind of setting all over and like taking out and like topping up. Okay, I'm going to go away. I'm going to put on an eye, an eyebrow, a little bit of powder bronzer. I don't have anything else left from HNB apart from this lip gloss, which I will put on. It's like a really stunning like nude. It's called LOWKEY. So I'm going to pop that on. I'll be back just to show you the final look, talk about where we're at, and then I'll do a few kind of like catch-ups throughout the day so we can kind of see how we're feeling. Hi guys, so we're back. I thought I would do my lips on camera with you because I thought I'd just show you what the HNB lip gloss looks like. And this is the eyes, so I just did kind of like a like cool tone, kind of like smoky eye with some mascara. So I'm going to go with my Refi Taupe lip liner. And I'm just going to like fill them in like a tiny bit like that. And then this, yeah, this is the gloss in LOWKEY, and it's kind of like a light nude, not super sticky. Yeah, really happy with the look. Skin is looking, I don't know if you can see, so this is up close with the skin tint, and this is it like completely by itself. So you can see that this side does have a bit more coverage, but this side is still like radiant and nice. Okay, I do have like a tiny bit of like creasing in this like laughter line, which I don't normally get until like a lot longer throughout the day, but I don't have it on the side the Glow Tint on doesn't seem to have like creased, but this side that I used the like skin tint with, it has. So I don't know necessarily if that is just maybe I applied a bit too much on that side, but yeah, skin is looking okay. I wouldn't say it's the best my skin has ever looked. From a distance it looks really pretty. It's got that kind of soft radiance, but yeah, close up I would say my skin has looked better. It is currently 2:15 in the afternoon. I'll probably check back in about 4 or 5 hours, and then I will check in before I like take off my makeup before bed around 10 o'clock. I'll give you my honest thoughts then. But yeah, so far it's not looking bad, but I wouldn't say it's like, breathtaking, but yeah, wear tests can be really surprising because when it kind of like sits and melts into your face, it can wear really lovely. And that for me is a really important like aspect of like wearing makeup. I want it to look fine in 5 hours. So I'll see you in a few hours and we can go over what I think. Hi guys, I am back. It is currently now 5 o'clock. Well, almost 4:30. It's been about 3 and a bit hours. I haven't powdered at all. And yeah, I feel like definitely has got better overall when you've like let it sit in. I think overall like kind of the texture that I was kind of noticing when I first put it on doesn't bother me as much now. It's kind of like melted in. I guess you can see that I'm quite shiny, but I haven't touched it with powder at all. But within 3 hours I probably wouldn't normally powder. I have had a really bad hay fevery day today, so I feel like this would have happened anyway because I've been sniffly and stuff, but it has kind of really broken down around my nose. But like I said, I think anything that I would have worn today would have. I feel like, yeah, the only place that I feel like a concern is within my smile lines, I guess. And I feel like it has kind of sat in there. But I don't know if that could have been the powder over the glow tint, because I never normally kind of get noticeable lines there. And I just don't know why it would be the glow tint, but I don't know whether that's correct in my thought process. So both sides actually with like looks still very similar to where we last like picked up. This was the side where it was just the glow tint by itself, and I think it looks really nice. I am a bit more radiant than normal, but it's a radiant product, so I kind of get that. And yeah, this side is the one where I mixed it in with my other skin tint, and I think overall it looks really nice. As you can see, yeah, I am a bit oily through here. I am just heading out now. Yeah, it's 5:30. So I'm just going to go back in and just powder my like T-zone. And just see if that helps with like some of the oils. I have had incredibly runny eyes today as well, so it has kind of broken up in my tear duct. But I know that that is purely from my hay fever. It's just been a crazy day for it. But yeah, so here we are at the like the three and a bit hour mark, and I do still think it's lovely. Which side do I prefer? I actually think as it stands now I prefer the side where I didn't mix the skin tint in. I think it just looks a little bit less cakey. I wouldn't say this side looks cakey, but this side looks less makeup-y. This side does look a lot more just natural, which makes sense. And I think over time it just looks a bit nicer. But then I guess there is still a really nice amount of coverage on this side. So I think as it stands, I would probably wear this product both ways. Whereas with my MAC Strobe Dewy Skin Tint, I never wear that by itself. Yeah, let's see where we're at in another 4 or 5 hours. When I first put this on, I wasn't convinced, but I think that this is why wear tests are important. As soon as your natural oils start to work with a product, that's how you can tell if it's going to be something that's going to work for you. Hi guys, so I'm now back and it is 10:20 at night. It's a very long day. I feel it's been extremely hot today. I've been extremely hay fevery today. All my lip has come off. How do I think this is worn? I do actually think that this has worn lovely. For saying it's not like a full coverage kind of situation, I think it's actually worn really nice, and I think I would more likely pick it up now that I know it wears nice. I do feel like, so when I last checked in, I said I liked the side that had just tint on, and it has kind of set in my lines here, which it already had done way back at the start, but I think I actually still prefer this side. It just looks so much more like natural. It hasn't like set into any of my like lines or like creases. I think it's worn better on this side, but it still looks great on this side, and there's a bit less of my texture on this side. But yeah, overall I think it's worn really lovely. The powder for me probably isn't my favourite. It's a tiny bit yellow, and I don't know whether I like it loads. Like when I reapplied earlier, I found it looked a bit caking, like clung to a few spots, so it was a bit uneven. But I don't know whether I'm just trying to try out too many products at once, so I'm going to give this a go kind of through the next few weeks when I'm trying out like the foundations that I know work well and so on. So I will leave, like maybe in a couple of weeks, I'll leave a little pinned note so I can let you know how I truly feel about the powder. But yeah, the Glow Tint is definitely going to be something that I grab day to day. I think it's going to be a lovely addition when I just want kind of something on my skin. And yeah, the radiance is stunning. It's a beautiful natural radiance. I probably will be grabbing this more than my MAC dewy skin tint, which is something I do grab a lot. Yeah, overall it is a good thumbs up for me, but on more of like a no makeup day when I want something very, very low coverage. But overall, yeah, happy. Thank you so much for watching and like checking in with me along the day. I am now going to take this makeup off and head to bed. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again super soon.